I wanted to come on here and do a little bit, share a little bit more about some of the things I've been through with the passing of different ones in my family. You know, there are times that you know that somebody's close to passing, and you think that you're prepared. So an example is my mom. I knew at one point that she was getting close. It was kind of hard at first. Well, it was hard all the way through it. What am I saying? She went into distress in the month of December, and you know, we were trying to convince her to go to the hospital, and she said to me on the phone, she said, if I go, I won't be coming home. And I knew that she must have known or had she kind of knew something, but I could hear her panting. She was like short breaths, rapid breaths over the phone, and I lived in another state, so I was convincing her that it was something minor and maybe a cold, and she should go and get checked. The ambulance was there waiting, so she believed me and went, and but I was really concerned because I could hear how she was breathing, and then what she said. So she went to the hospital, but she got through it, but she was in and out of the hospital and rehab for the next 5 months. And sometimes she'd go and stay at my sister's house for a short time and be back in the hospital. So May rolls around, and it's Mother's Day, and I had asked God to give me one more Mother's Day with her. And so I got that. But the question came up from the doctor. They said she's going to keep going into distress, meaning she had to go into ICU and get a vent. And then she would get off the vent, go back to her room, and so on. So I had to ask her the question, you're going to go into distress again. Do you want to go on the vent? Or do you want to, and then they'll put a trach in, or do you want us to let you go? It was a hard question for me to ask, because I didn't know if I'd want to hear her answer. And she told me she had to think about it. And then she said, the next day, she said, I'll take the trach. But a week later, she went into distress. And my sister put the phone up to her ear, and I was trying to tell her, this is the next time, this is your last time, you'll get a trach this time. And she whispered into the phone and said, I can't do this anymore. And I knew that that would be the end. And the next day, she passed on. I grieved for the whole 5 months. So I thought when the time came that I would be okay, because I thought, well, I'm getting the grieving out and I'll get through this. But when she passed, I wasn't as prepared as I thought. Even though I knew it was coming, and I had cried my eyes out, it was way different when it actually happened. And I got really down. I would get into panic attacks because I'd have a question I wanted to ask her, but she wasn't there. I couldn't ask her. And I would get into a panic because how am I going to get an answer? It would be crazy questions. Like there was a mirror that she had hanging on her living room wall, and I thought, where did she get that from? And I can't ask her, and I would go into a panic. You know, just it didn't make sense. But it was a panic because she wasn't there. And for the next 7 months, I was pretty down and depressed. I wasn't living for the Lord like I should. So I didn't really understand His comfort. I didn't go to Him for comfort. I just was kind of shell-shocked, you know. And December came along, and I was thinking, well, she's not going to be here for Christmas. How am I going to get through Christmas? It's her first Christmas not being here. And I heard the Lord tell me I was her legacy. And I don't know, it broke that grief immediately, because I realized that her life is going on through me, not that she's in me or anything like that, but her life isn't, her life didn't stop. She's in heaven. She's in heaven because she lived for the Lord. And so I can go on and whatever I do out of what she taught me and passed on to me, and what I do for the Lord, I get a reward for, but so does she. It just gave me a purpose, and it also made me get serious with God, because I thought, I want to see her again. Over time, my relationship deepened with the Lord, and I realized my real desire above everything is to see the Lord. And I just want to say that it's really hard sometimes when you think that you're ready for your loved one to go on. You think you're ready. You know it's coming, but you're not. You don't know how you're going to respond. If I had known the Lord at that time, maybe it wouldn't have taken 7 months. I mean, we do have a period of grief. But with the Lord, it doesn't stay forever. And it is traumatic. I mean, there's a hole left when someone leaves. Only the Lord can fill that hole. I mean, I still want to pick up the phone and call her. And it's been years. So the Lord still comes in those moments. And He fills that place. And He comforts me. And I have a hope of seeing her again. And it makes me want to tell everyone, give your heart to the Lord. I don't want to see somebody pass that doesn't know the Lord, because then I might not see them again. That would be a terrible, terrible thing. And then there are times that we don't know somebody's going to pass. And I mean, if it's a trauma and a deep pain when they pass and we know it's coming, how much more so if we don't know? But the Lord can take that trauma away too. He can take the sting of it away. My sister was sick for the last 2.5 years. And I don't know how many times, I lost count, how many times she literally was at death's door. But she was brought back. And even this time, here just a couple weeks ago, I thought this time she's going to pull out of it. She even thought it. But somewhere in there, I think that she decided, just like my mom, I can't do this anymore. And she went on to be with the Lord. So for me, in a sense, it was expected, but it wasn't expected. I can't get through grief without the Lord. I don't know how anybody can. So I just want to encourage you, go to the Lord with your trauma, your grief, your loss, that empty place that you have because of that loved one. And He will comfort you. He will get you through.